Thank you again for joining today's webinar. My name is Sid Haas. I'm the Vice President of Business Development here at LKCS, and we're going to be talking about some of the advantages and benefits that your banks and credit unions can receive from LKCS's statements processing services. So we have about 200 credit union and bank statement clients, but more importantly, we like to say that we have 200 credit union statement references. Really, we don't lose clients very often, and the only reasons that we lose them are typically due to mergers and acquisitions, and occasionally due to core conversions, where the core providers have the statement services built into their contracts. Other than that, we don't lose clients, and we've had some of our statement clients for over 40 years. So we're more than happy to provide a list of references. As we discuss our statements and some of the services and offerings that we have, we tell you that we can prepare statements in just about any format or layout imaginable. And I'm going to share several examples with you during the presentation today. But when we begin programming, for new clients, we always ask new clients to let us know of any specific formatting options they have, styles they like, statement elements they'd like to incorporate. We really encourage them to share with us statements from, other banks and credit unions, investment firms, even bills, anything that they receive in the mail or e-statements that they see today, and show us the elements on those documents that they like, and we can incorporate those into their statements to make them unique for them. So when we talk about statement reformatting, this is what we're talking about. So on the left is very typical of what data comes out of a core system, that it will look like. It meets all of the regulatory requirements to produce a statement, but it's not very friendly, right? It doesn't provide a great user experience at all. We have the ability to reformat that. And obviously a lot of vendors say that they do that, but I don't know that all of them take really great pains in taking it to some of the levels that we do. So you'll see an example using the same data stream of what that statement could actually look like on the right-hand side. And this is just one example. But you'll see that we have a lot of different types of different design elements, different ways of portraying, headings of accounts, even the way that we can rearrange columns. So for example, here we've taken the transaction description and slid it over to the far right of the statement so that when a user is reconciling their accounts, it's very easy for them. They can see the date of their transactions, the withdrawal amounts, deposits, and balances without even having to scroll all the way across the screen. And again, just some additional options. You'll see how we start to incorporate marketing in different positions, statement summaries in different areas, lots of different options. And we go through this with each one of our clients. One of the big trends, across the industry really is introducing color. Color printing is coming down in cost to the point where it's approaching the cost of black and white. And obviously, when you start introducing color into your statements, it makes a big impact. It supports your brand, but it also makes your statements much easier for your members and customers to understand. And obviously really improves your ability to do that marketing and cross-selling on those statements. When we look at some of the modern data formats, we even have more capabilities to redesign statements. So more and more of the core processors, are moving towards XML and other data formats, from the typical print file or text file formats. But even their recommended statement layouts are still very standard, right? They're still very typical. But we can take these types of data formats and really make them into something very, very special. So this is an example of a new statement layout that just went live. And to show you some of the things that we've incorporated, that aren't in that XML data stream is obviously still providing, this customer the ability to incorporate a text-based message, right? That can be the same for all of their statement recipients, or can be customized for different groups, of members potentially. We're obviously incorporating, graphical statement ads, what we call ONSERTS, and we'll talk about this, in a few minutes. We built statement summaries that weren't included in the data file. So we're pulling out, ending balances, account descriptions, and even the suffix numbers for their deposit and loan accounts, and presenting that back to the member in a very friendly format. And then we're even introducing little icons for each transaction, right? For each transaction type. So at a glance, members can identify what types of transactions they have on their statement within each account. And then we're even using a little hint of color to show withdrawals and deposits within the account. So we don't have to separate that even into separate columns to make it instantly identifiable where there's a negative balance anywhere, negative transaction or negative balance anywhere on that statement. At the end of each account, or at least for checking accounts in particular, we're giving them a nice overview. What activity was there in this account that month? For checking, if there were any checks written, we'll give them a little check summary, right? Obviously, people are writing fewer and fewer checks, but those that are, we're still providing a little check summary if there were any checks written. And then obviously, meeting the Reg E requirements, disclosing any overdraft fees, things like that. But doing it, in a well-presented, well-designed format. And we can do obviously the same thing for loans, but we're calling out information that's important to the user, right? We're showing them very clearly what their next payment amount is, payment due date, past due amounts, total due. Making it easy for that customer or member, to understand their account activity. And then obviously we can continue to do the same thing with mortgage statements. Right? There's no reason that other types of documents can't be designed well, still meeting all the regulatory requirements, supporting your brand and making it very, very friendly, for that user. I think just an exceptionally well-designed statement. Just shows you what's possible really from any data stream, but just a unique approach to statement design. We can do the same thing for your daily notices, your credit card statements, any type of document that we're producing for our clients. So let's talk a little bit about some of the marketing options that you've already seen in our statements. What we're doing is it's an industry term called transpromo marketing. And what transpromo is, it's just the concept of combining promotional advertising or messaging with your transactional documents or your statements. And we're combining, data mining and business intelligence technology with variable data printing, right? With printing of that transactional, of those transactions and those documents. And for your marketing team and your operations team, it gives them the ability to take advantage of free posting, right? By combining that advertising with these documents that you're already sending, they don't have to send separate direct mail campaigns to do this type of targeting. So these statement ads, these graphical ads that you've already seen a few of, or what we call ONSERTS, allow you to print these ads directly on your statements, and they literally cost pennies or less than that. So we estimate the cost to print a single page of a statement at about 4 cents. So if you take a quarter of a page, right, and use that for an ad, that ad is costing you about a penny, right? These ads, these ONSERTS, can be sent to all of your members, or More importantly, you can target specific groups of your account holders to receive one or more of these messages. The same technology enables us to print loan payment coupons, rate grids, regulatory notices, any type of communications that need to be sent can be delivered on your statements. And these can be personalized. I'll show you examples of that. You can design these onserts yourself. You can have us custom design them. And we also have an online library, which I'll be showing you, with hundreds and hundreds of these onserts already available for you. Here are some examples, just that I've selected randomly. So on the top left, you'll actually see one of our loan payment coupons. Here we simply take fields from the statement and place them, in another, onto a loan payment coupon for that credit union member or bank customer. Makes it very, very easy, for that user to identify exactly what's due. They can tear that coupon off and send it back in with their payment. In the case of somebody who's only receiving a quarterly statement, obviously we can generate multiple coupons. It's perfect for home equity loans where, the amount that they owe might vary from month to month. We can generate loan payment coupons in bulk as well, so to replace those, payment coupon books or anything like that you might be producing. These onserts can be produced at any size, right? So we're not limited to some of the layouts that I've shown you. If you have a larger offer to communicate or something like this Skip-a-Pay where, you want more of a graphical message, but then you actually want to incorporate a form and have us populate member information and all of the eligible, loan numbers, member numbers, and all those different things, we have the ability to do that. So these can go all the way up to full page, as I'll show you. And this is what I mean by a full page. So we can take the first page in this example of your statements and turn it into a direct mail letter. The statement would appear immediately behind this example, but the first page of the statement truly becomes a direct mail campaign. Again, with no extra postage cost. This is great for, pre-approvals, for referral campaigns. In this example, a Skip-a-Pay to welcome new members with, a letter from the president, anything like that. Special situations, that you can dream up. We have the ability to trigger this type of communication. These are examples of those pre-screen loan campaigns. We have relationships with the credit bureaus that enable us to identify which of your account holders, are eligible for different credit offers. We can work with you in advance to obviously draft, and design the offers. And then when we actually run the statements, we can run the pre-screen to find who's eligible to receive those, and then include these as the first page of your statements and e-statements. Obviously, the concept is cross-selling, right, and upselling. So we can target who will receive onserts and inserts, so we can do the same thing with those paper inserts, with criteria based on account relationships, account balances, account activity, geography, right, where people live, any conditions that we can identify in that statement data, and more often than not, any conditions that we can identify in separate data files. So it's very common for customers to send us a list of member numbers and say, here's who we want to receive this campaign or not receive this campaign. We use Aries files a lot for our credit union clients to identify relationships or identify specific combinations of criteria that credit unions want us to target. But we can work with you and your marketing staff to identify these different groups of members and customers that are eligible for these different campaigns, and then trigger those onserts to be incorporated right into the statements. So think of ways that you can welcome new account holders, right? You can thank accounts, or thank people for paying off their loans. We can incorporate those auto loan recapture messages, right? As soon as somebody hits, for example, 36 months on an existing auto loan, we can start communicating with them about taking out that next auto loan with you, or whatever time period your loan staff finds that, people begin to trade in their vehicles. Birthday messages are fairly common, right? We can just send a little thank you, a little happy birthday, a little happy birthday, during the month. If somebody has a birthday during the month that we're sending out that statement, let's make it personal. Let's recognize that we know, our customers and our members. The loan payment coupons that I've already shown you. Obviously, we can communicate about your insurance, your mortgage, your investment relationships. Business accounts can receive different onserts than your, personal or retail accounts. New mergers and branch acquisitions, right? We're seeing a lot of our customers that are growing specifically, through mergers and branch acquisitions, but, we can trigger different onserts or even combinations, over multiple months of different communications for those newly welcomed members, right? And new segs for those credit unions. But we can talk with you and determine the ways to take advantage of these cross-sell opportunities. And these are the types of things that can be put essentially on autopilot, right? We can look for these conditions and trigger those onserts from month to month to welcome those new members, for example, every month without having to redesign a new onsert each month for that condition. We also use your envelopes essentially as a billboard. So we'll print ads on the back of your envelopes, again, for pennies. We charge something like $11.50 per thousand to print an ad on the back of your envelopes. And I challenge you to open an envelope without looking at the back of it. It's literally nearly impossible. But yet we see so many envelopes that come unprinted on the back side. And again, you can use any of our stock designs. We come out with new ones each quarter. You can custom design an ad, or we can custom design an ad for you, or you can supply your own. It's a great place, by the way, to promote e-statements. So as I said, we actually provide new ideas every quarter, but we have a whole library of existing onsert, insert, and envelope backer ideas online through our website. These can also be used for website banner ads. We can turn them into lobby posters, postcards, direct mail campaigns, just about anything. So ask your sales rep for more information, pricing, all of those details, but there's literally hundreds of concepts that are available online, and we're adding more and more every quarter to this existing library. So let's switch gears and talk about e-statements for a bit, because obviously we understand that e-statements are clearly the future for the majority of your statements. And including statement marketing with your e-statements is just as important, if not more important, than your printed statements. So everything that I've talked about so far, from reformatting and design of your statements to all of the marketing and TRANSPROMO techniques, can be incorporated into our e-statements. And actually, there's additional capabilities in our e-statements as well. So obviously, onserts are presented within our e-statements. They're always presented in color. So even if your printed statements are presented in black and white, your onserts are going to be presented in color within your e-statements. We have banner ads that are delivered with our e-statements. So this is how we would link to your printed inserts, right? These banner ads can link to web pages, they can link to PDFs, they can link, to anywhere. And just like your printed inserts, these banner ads can appear for all of your account holders, or they can be selectively, they can selectively display for different groups of account holders. And we can even add these little new flags to the banner ads so that members and customers know which of these banners are new that they haven't clicked on yet. The email notifications that are sent out to members each month, you have the ability to customize those. So you can add a simple message to them, like the example on the right. You can add images to them. Basically you can specify what content. We'll custom design a template for you, and we have the ability then to modify that each month based on your requirements and send that out. And obviously color doesn't cost more, right? So we've talked about how the ONSERTS are going to be presented in color, but we can also incorporate color just into the e-statement display itself. Our e-statement presentation, the actual e-statement itself, is identical in format to the paper statement, but we do have the ability to incorporate that color. So again, just adding a little bit of punch, a little bit of additional value to that e-statement. And there are so many more advantages to our e-statements. So these are just a few of them. We can deliver any type of document electronically. So not just your statements, but obviously your tax forms, your account notices. Anything that we're sending out to your members can be delivered in the form of an e-statement. Within the same interface, same login, all of that. Our e-statements are mobile friendly, right? They're compatible with all of the mobile devices. The email messages, the email notifications, as I've said, they're already customizable and trackable. We also have the ability to send text messages. So with obviously the rapid adoption of mobile devices, and we're seeing that a high number of our e-statements are opened on mobile devices. Well, email might not be the way that members and customers want to receive those notifications. So we can provide text messaging and actually enable your users to decide how they want to receive their notifications. I've shown you how we use banner ads to link to newsletters and disclosures and statement inserts and all of those things. Your account holders want to use their e-statements as basically online file cabinets. So we're seeing customers come to us and want longer and longer retention periods. Our standard retention period is 12 months, but more and more customers are asking us for 24 months and longer as a retention. We can provide that very, very easily. We can give you the ability for joint account owners to view statements for their joint accounts from a single login, even multiple member numbers. And we can give your staff the ability to review any statements, tax forms, any documents that you want to see prior to them being released to your account holders. You can review them online and approve them online before they get sent out, all through our e-statement platform. Your employees have access to all documents online, even for members that are not signed up and customers that are not signed up for e-statement. Obviously, we have a complete back-end system, right, for you to manage enrollment and staff permissions and run reports and do all those things that you would expect to do, but it's very, very user-friendly. Our e-statement enrollment is the simplest in the industry, right, and provides instant access to your users to their historical documents. They don't have to wait for those documents to be processed. They don't have to wait till next month for a statement to appear. As soon as a customer or member enrolls for e-statements, all of the documents from their account history are already available to them. And we have single sign-on integration with multiple online banking vendors. So members don't even have to have a different login or password. They can log into online banking and be transferred right into our e-statement interface. Super easy. But remember that not everybody will get an e-statement. There will be some documents that you need to mail. Not everybody's going to want an e-statement, and not all documents on your side, for regulatory reasons and other reasons, are going to be able to be, delivered electronically. And the post office doesn't exactly have the greatest reputation lately, right? So are your critical documents getting delivered on time? Do you know that? Do you have a way to measure that? Are they even getting delivered at all, right? We've all heard the horror stories lately. So we've developed a solution for that. So we provide mail tracking a way for you to track your mail very, very easily through intuitive dashboards. So you can get information all the way from your company, for your entire credit union or bank, all the way down to the individual piece level. We're updating millions of records daily with the latest post office data, and this is available to you at very, very low cost. So I'll show you some screenshots and explain what you're seeing here. So this is what we call a delivery summary dashboard. This is showing you overall at the company level, at your company level, what's been delivered. So, there's a slider that lets you see your date range, right? And change your date range. So if you want to look at a specific month or week or whatever time frame you want to adjust, or if you only want to look at statements or notices or a specific type of document, you can. You'll see how many mail pieces were sent out during that date range and how many were scanned by the post office, because what we're reporting on are the intelligent mail barcodes on those mail pieces. So it should be a very, very high percentage that are scanned, but not 100% of those mail pieces are going to be scanned. Some foreign mail, for example, won't be scanned. Maybe some, very overweight or, thick envelopes might not be scanned. There'll be reasons that they're not scanned. And you'll see how many pieces are confirmed as delivered. So this won't be all of the pieces that are delivered. There'll be some additional pieces of mail that are delivered and not confirmed, but this is the majority of mail that will be delivered, will be confirmed as delivered. And I'll show you how we know that it's been delivered. So we can see here that in this case, over, approaching 99% of the mail for this client has been confirmed as delivered. And we'll start to compute the median days of delivery and the average delivery days. So how long did it take for your mail to get from our facility into your members' and customers' mailboxes? You'll see all the different mailings that went out. So you'll see each of what we call the submissions. You'll see the dates, the mail classes, and the number of pieces. And you'll be able to select any of those individual mailings. And as soon as you were to select one of those, you'll actually then, this dashboard will be instantly updated to show the information for that single mailing. The post office actually gives us their expected delivery time from our facility to every zip code in the US. We then compare the data that we get back from them every day and compute the delivery metric, right? So we'll show you how many of those mail pieces were delivered early, how many were delivered on time, and how many were delivered late. It's no secret that the number of late mail delivered, right, number of mail pieces that have been delivered late is on the rise. It's not quite as bad as the media would want you to think, but it's definitely higher than it was, say 6 months ago. You'll actually see the same thing in graph form and line graph form by day. So what you're seeing here, the yellow bars are showing you what's projected. So for example, on 9/10, I think it is, 9/10, the post office projected in this case that 19,735 pieces of mail should have been delivered. But in reality, only 8,591 pieces were delivered. So that the difference is actually what was late. Probably only late by a day, but it's still late. We then present a client summary, again showing this same information but broken down in a different way. We'll always give you that ability to sort and change your date range. You'll always see kind of your overall number of mail pieces for that date range, number scanned, right? Number in this case forwarded or returned. But now we're going to start giving you, again, the number delivered and number delivered late. It's showing it in a different format, a different position. But we're going to start to break down by state and even by what we call a 3-digit zip code, which is a postal region, and then even to individual zip codes. But you can see here that this 3-digit zip code area, 955, definitely had some issues, right? We can see that the average delivery day to that 3-digit zip code was 36 days. It happens to be a zip code region in California, and I believe it had something to do with possibly the wildfires at that point in time. But it's definitely something that we would investigate, or you might want to investigate. How many mail pieces were there, what zip codes were involved, which we could see here. It's one particular zip code, right? We could zoom in on that. We could, click through, see exactly what mail pieces they were, see if they were delivered. We could even reach out to our postmaster, reach out to the postmaster in that area, and find out why the mail is delayed. In a lot of cases, there are specific zip codes that are actually on a kind of a USPS dashboard that we have access to that'll tell us, and like in the case of a wildfire or something like that, that mail is definitely being held, due to safety issues or something like that. We'll also present maps, right? So this is just a few of the different metrics that are available in maps, but we'll show you mapping by state, and by 5-digit zip codes. So we'll show you the percentage, in this case confirmed, so you'll be able to see, what states have a lower percentage of confirmed delivery. We'll show you the average delivery days, right, to different states, where you might have statements being mailed. We'll show you the number of pieces late. I mean, a lot of these are just 3 of probably 10 or 12 different metrics that are mapped. But you'll be able to mouse over, in this case, any state, or drill into the individual zip codes for a state. So here I'm actually drilled into some of the zip codes in Texas, and we're looking at the percentage confirmed again. And I can start actually mousing over every one of the individual zip codes and seeing, in this case, this 5-digit zip code 75002 had almost 90% confirmed, and there were a total of 2,046 pieces that were confirmed as delivered for this particular mailing that I was tracking. And all of this information is literally instantly available to you. We also then give you the ability to do the individual mail piece tracking. So this is really important when that account holder calls and say they didn't get their statement, right? And I always laugh because it typically comes up, it seems to come up very often when somebody misses a loan payment for some reason. But we have the ability to, you have the ability to search by name or, account number, obviously by mailing date. Any of these fields you can search by, but most frequently you'll be searching by name or account number. And then you'll be presented with data for each and every mail piece to that individual within that date range that you were searching for. So what you're looking for is kind of all of the records for one particular IMB code, right, or one particular mail piece. You can think of an IMB code as a mail, as an envelope serial number, right, or a mail piece serial number. So this will actually show you all of the data that the post office tracked through every piece of mail equipment at every one of their facilities that this envelope passed through. So let's zoom in on one, and I'll be able to show you what we see. So we'll obviously we'll see the scan time, right? We'll see what time that envelope was scanned, how many times it was scanned. For each scan, we'll see the date and time it was scanned. We'll see the name of the facility, right? We can obviously get more information than that, but we'll see the name of the facility, where that was scanned. And we'll see from the operation code, we'll actually be able to get a description, kind of in English. It's postal English, but it's English, of what was happening to that mail piece when it was scanned. We'll get a phase. So there's 4 phases typically in a mail piece delivery, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then obviously some additional letters after that. But what we're looking for is things like delivery, right? And more importantly, we look for what the post office calls a stop the clock scan. When we see a yes under stop the clock, that's what the post office basically considers as delivery. That's the last step that the post office can track before that piece of mail gets put inside of somebody's mailbox. So essentially, this is what stops that timer on the post office's delivery metrics. That's why they call it stop the clock. There are times where we'll see a stop the clock scan if a mail piece was routed incorrectly through the post office's system. You might see a stop the clock scan, and then you might see another scan after it where there's a no. So basically that clock starts again, right? Or it never really did stop. But in most cases, the stop the clock scan should be the final, operation in a mail piece's delivery other than delivery. And this is what we use to identify which of those mail pieces were delivered. We also provided delivery scan exceptions reports where we don't see that stop the clock scan with a delivery after it, right? Or we can't verify that or confirm that a mail piece was delivered. We're going to provide a report that shows the delivery exception, right? And we monitor this for our clients as well. So when a client calls and say, hey, we've got customers complaining that they haven't received their statements yet, we're typically on top of it, or we certainly, can make those phone calls and identify exactly what's going on. So in this case, I'm tracking one particular date, right? And I'm looking specifically to see that there were 5,928 pieces of mail sent for this customer on 10/5. And I can see that there were 755 pieces of mail not delivered when I was looking at this particular mailing. And what I can see are the different trays of mail that we had sorted these into. I can see the facility where that tray was last, right? So these are the last scans that we received. So instead of looking at all of those scans for each mail piece, I'm now looking at the last piece of data that we have on these mail pieces that were not delivered. So I can see that the last piece of mail, or the last piece of data that we have for the pieces in tray 15 were that they were in Green Bay, and that it appears that this mail was processed at a destination facility and arrived from another processing plant. So basically it was sent from one postal facility to this Green Bay facility. And there's a total of 380 pieces of mail, but they were there since 10/7. So this mail hadn't moved from whatever I was checking this dashboard, since 10/7. And there were 380 pieces of mail from tray 15 that hadn't moved. And I have all of the individual IMB codes, so all of those serial numbers, all those 380 serial numbers. So I could send that information to our postmaster and ask him to contact the postmaster in Green Bay and find out where those mail pieces are. And it's amazing when we make that phone call and send that email with these IMB codes, we've seen that this mail starts to move. So in this case, a tray is typically set off to the side, and it doesn't happen very often, but it seems to happen occasionally. A tray might be misplaced, a tray of mail, and when we start inquiring about it, all of a sudden that mail begins to move. And we'll see the same thing, by the way, with multiple trays. So in this same mailing, there was tray number 16 with 185 pieces of mail that had the same thing happen. But all of this information is available to you and us, and obviously we can export from any of these dashboards. You have the ability to export data to Excel or PDF so that you can share it with your staff or with us, or obviously for us to share with the Postal Service. So moving on from mailing, let's talk about information privacy and security, because clearly everything that we do is not as important as protecting your data, right? And your account holders' information. It's critical in everything that we do. So these are just a few of the controls that we have in place to protect the security of your data, the integrity of our statements. We have all sorts of policies and procedures that are in place and tested regularly. We are SOC 2 compliant, but that's just, that obviously provides documentation and makes us better, but that's not the be-all, get-all, right? We're better than even being SOC 2. We do have a formal disaster recovery plan in place. We verify the accuracy of every mail piece as it's inserted and even after it's inserted. But we can provide all sorts of documentation for you about how we protect your data and how we ensure that our statements are accurate to the highest level possible. Information security doesn't make us different. Obviously, you expect us to be secure, and we can provide that documentation and assurance that we are. What makes us different is our attention to detail and the quality of customer service and quality control that we provide. And we know that every company can say that they provide excellent customer service, but how do they show it? So we customize our operations to individually meet our clients' business needs. So 2 examples of that. One is we enlarge the statement for one particular client or one particular account holder that has a vision impairment. It was less expensive and easier for, to basically enlarge that, print it out on a larger sheet of paper each month than to charge the client to program a large print version of their statement for one member. We can do that, but it's not necessary. Instead, we can print this statement out on a 12 by 18 inch sheet of paper and do it as more of a manual process each month to benefit the member. And again, show that little bit of caring and attention, than charging the credit union thousands of dollars potentially to reformat a statement. We send one statement via certified mail to an account holder that was victimized by identity theft. They're very afraid of mail, but they don't want to receive an e-statement. So that's how we solve the issue. We received a 91, actually on our last 2 Net Promoter Score surveys, with the most recent one back in February. Our customers love us, and we love them back. And it's because of some of those things that we do that you're just not going to find. Some of the attention that we provide that you're just not going to find at other statement vendors and other companies. So what you can expect from us, you can expect a minimum of 3 contacts. Okay? You're going to be assigned a sales rep, you're going to be assigned a customer service rep, and you're always going to have a statement coordinator. And any one of these 3 contacts are available to you at an instant's notice via phone or email. You will get a timely response from at least one, if not more than one of these people. And we even have an after-hours hotline available for statement-related issues. We may not always have the answer for you, but you will at least get a response that we received your inquiry and we're going to get back to you, and we will get back to you. And I encourage you to ask any of those 200 references that I started the presentation with about the truth of that statement, because it's something that we stand by. I like to say you ain't never had a friend like us, because LKCS is proactive when it comes to statement issues. We will contact you even if we suspect that there might be an issue. And we have your back. We want you to look good. We don't want mistakes ever to leave our building. So if we suspect any type of mistake, any issue with your data, any issue with quantities, and lots of other things that I'll show you what we look for, we're going to reach out to you and say, hey, is this potentially a problem? Is this something you need to look into before we send these statements out? All statement vendors monitor quality, but most of them rely solely on automated controls. And quite frankly, computers can't catch everything. So we go one step further. Our employees verify the quality at every stage of our statement operations. And we're verifying that manually. We require manual checklists to be completed by file processors, by printer operators, and by inserter operators. These checklists are filed with every job so we can go back to them, and they're actually audited as part of our SOC 2 audits. So it's not just our security on the IT side that's audited, but it's our entire process, including our quality control procedures. So what do we check? Obviously, we check a lot more than this, but just to give you some example of what we're checking manually, we spell check your messages, and we're not just spell checking, but we're checking them for grammar, right? The messages that you include with your statements. We compare quantities, and we compare them methodically. We're not just looking at the total number of statements you mail. We're comparing statements from month to month and quarter to quarter. We're looking at the number of accounts, the types of accounts. We're looking at the number of pages, right? If we see, we're looking at the number of suppressed statements, what we call no mail statements. If we see more than a 10% variation in quantity of the number of e-statements or print statements or any of these metrics that we're tracking from one share draft or 1 month to another or 1 quarter to another, we're going to question it. We're going to look at our documentation and see if there's any reason that could cause that. And if not, we're going to reach out to you and ask, is this expected, right? Did you purge some accounts? Did you, have some kind of e-statement campaign? What would have caused this? We verify the date range of your statements, right? We find out all the time statement files are sent to us with the wrong date range. And we're also going to look and make sure that there's transactions for that entire date range. We randomly check statements for accuracy by actually calculating with a calculator, starting at the starting balance in an account and going all the way through to the ending balance with each transaction. And believe it or not, we find core processing errors. And we track when you're audited annually and make sure that audit messages are included, and just a whole lot more. But we go above and beyond, and just to fulfill our tagline of we do that. A question came in is, what does the back end process look like? Do you use an online portal to submit marketing content, and what does the approval process look like? I don't have screenshots prepared for that, but the back-end process we do have, and it depends on how each customer wants to work with us. Many prefer just to do it via email, but we do have an online project management portal available to submit the marketing content. And we send out notifications and reminders. We ask that all of the marketing content, as far as onserts and inserts, be submitted to us by the 25th of the month. Prior to that first of the month, so basically 5 days before the end of the month. And the approval process, as far as you being able to review statements online, is we post those documents in our e-statement portal. Your staff that has that approval authority will receive an email from us when those statements or notices or tax forms, whatever they are available online. They'll be able to log in. They'll see those statements, so they'll be able to view them. They'll be able to view all of them, not just for the members that have e-statements. They'll be able to search by, name or account number to view a particular document if there's some, test documents they wanted to view. And then there's actually a button there that says approve. And they can click that button, and we'll receive notifications that those were approved at that time and proceed with our process. And obviously, if they're not approved, we'll give you the opportunity to tell us what's wrong with them. But that's very, very rare. Does that answer your question? If not, please just let me know. So all of those manual procedures, right, our competitors think that must slow us down, right? That's what they're afraid of, but they don't. And that's why our competitors don't do what we do. But that's why they don't catch the things that we catch. And that's why our error rates are so much lower than the industry standards. Manual procedures make us better, not slower. And to prove that to you, month after month, over 62% of our statements mail within 1 business day of receiving our clients' data files. Over the past 6 months, 88% of our statements mailed within 2 business days. And over the past 12 months, none of our statements were late. They all mailed within 3 business days. So I always like to end with Henry Ford's statement that coming together is a beginning, keeping together is progress, and working together is success. And we do look forward to establishing a long and mutually successful relationship with each and every one of you. As I said at the start, we have customers that have been with us, statement customers, for over 40 years. And we don't lose customers for reasons other than mergers and occasional core conversions. And I take that as a testament to the quality of work that we do and the attention, that we give to each and every one of our clients. So I look forward to answering your questions. I will stay online, but I'm also available to meet with any of you individually, talk about your individual statement requirements and how we can meet them. So thank you very much for your time today. I appreciate it.